Welcome back to MFO, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. There has been a lot of talk from B.A.S.S about positivity and, trying to get off the negative stuff. And there's been a lot of bashing in the last couple of weeks after the Classic. I'm going to take an approach here where I'm going to just give some feedback or some positive ideas about how to change the Bassmaster Classic format for the better, which I'm hoping that you guys will respond to, and we can just share some ideas. Discussion is a positive. It's not being negative if you discuss. It's also a situation where if you have ideas and you can share those ideas, maybe they get considered and maybe there's some improvements that can be made. Guys, stick around for this. A new change for the format for the Bassmaster Classic. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. Let's just jump into this idea for a new change for the Bassmaster Classic. One of the thoughts that I had is that the format that Major League Fishing uses, where they catch, weigh, and release, I think that that's applicable in the Bassmaster Classic. Right now, it's probably not applicable from a standpoint of every tournament at Bass. They don't have enough marshals or ambassadors to be able to weigh the fish, and they've got a 5-fish limit, and that's kind of the way they do things. But with the Classic, you could absolutely do a catch, weigh, and release. There's only 50 competitors. They absolutely have ambassadors in each boat. So here's my idea. On the first 2 days of the Classic, 5-fish format, best 5 fish, but you catch, weigh, and release the 5 fish on the first 2 days of the Classic. So you have Bass Live or live, Bass Track. You're keeping track of the scores. You've got live going on, so you're getting all the action with all the cameras, and you're seeing the competitors fish throughout the day. Have Bass Live go throughout the day, the entire tournament day. And at the end of the day, at 3:30 or whatever time it is, the people who are viewing it know exactly who's winning. You've watched the event, you've kept track of the scores, and the event for day 1 and day 2 are over when it's 3:30. Boom. You know who's leading. Just like if you were watching a race or something like that, a NASCAR race. You know who is leading after day 1. You know who's leading after day 2. So from that standpoint, you've not taken a fish out of the lake. You catch it, you weigh it, you release it. Boom. Now on day 3, the final day of the Classic, now you keep those fish, you put them in the live well, and you do your weigh-in. Bring them to the event. Have a big production for your final day. And you'll fill this stadium because it's only the 1-day crowning event. You can do a giant media blitz with that final day. And by the way, guys, on that final day, Bass Track is off. You can still do Bass Live, but there's absolutely no digital production of who's catching. If I'm watching, I can go, ooh, I think that was a 5-pounder. Ooh, I think he's got a limit now. But none of that gets talked about. Just watching and that kind of stuff. And by the way, on day 3, you take the anglers who didn't make the 3rd day, and those guys are coming in at half hour intervals, and they're getting put on TV to talk and do some commentating so that they're getting their time in front of a larger Bassmaster Classic audience. Because the one downside without doing a weigh-in on day 1 and 2 is that those guys who deserve to get some, airtime because of, making the Classic, they would be able to get that airtime on day 3 by being guest commentators. These are my ideas. I don't know how people think about them, but I think that, and let me add a couple of things. Number one, I would, as an organization, I would give MLF credit and say, hey, man, B.A.S.S was founded as a conservation organization. MLF found a way to do it better, and it's a better mousetrap, and we're going to, use their approach because they're doing it right. Give them credit. I mean, I know that's, in this day and age where everybody's got to be us against them, that's a unique stance. But I would give Major League Fishing credit for a better format. Give them credit for it. Absolutely. Acknowledge the fact that it's a good format and that because it's good, we're going to use it as well. And acknowledge the fact that we want to make sure that we keep the conservation aspect of our program, and so we're going to do this because it's better for the conservation of the habitats that we go to. I think that this is a format that B.A.S.S could get behind at the Classic, and then they could see what people thought of it and maybe use that information to expand it to other tournaments. I'm very curious as to what you think, and I'd love for you to send in those comments, because the more people who comment on these ideas, good or bad, if I'm not thinking of something, let me know. But I'd love for you to send in your comments on any other suggestions. The more brains we put into this, the more possibility there are of coming up with the right decisions. Guys, I would appreciate your feedback on this. As always, I hope that you'll tune in to Mark Fisher Outdoors every Monday through Friday. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button and become a member of the Mark Fisher Outdoors community. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow for another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.